So how does it work with the YouTube streaming, as well as if people have joined from Zoom or Teams, or because I saw this Teams link as well, isn't
there? So the people that join from Zoom that register and they get the link to join on Zoom, they'll be able to participate in the Q&A, whereas the live stream on YouTube is just for people that, you know, we're just going to pick them up through social media.
Right. Okay.
So it's just trying to get extra audience.
Yeah.
We're actually live now on YouTube, so we're going to share. I'm going to turn off my camera. And,
sure.
I'm going to share this link through social media. So this is what. Yeah. So you might get a few early people watching. That if that goes out, you know, they'll click into it. So I don't know. Can we hide? No, I can't. I can't stop his video. All right, and I'll stop my video. So you're the only one that's going to be seeing Rebecca on the screen.
So Connor, I can still see like a gallery view with the four of us and just our names for anyone whose camera's off. Is that going to be the same for everyone?
No, they will just see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lucky then.
Yeah.
So Rebecca, it is live, but there's nobody watching it, just to reassure you that the world isn't.
Well, it's still a bit early anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, Rebecca, Giles is here, but I can't turn on the camera for some reason.
Can you hear me, mate?
We can hear you. I think Connor has turned your video off. Oh, there you are.
Okay, so are we in position? I even moved some stuff to have like a dicer background and
beautiful. Yeah. We're actually, just to let you know, we are already live on YouTube, although I don't think there's anyone actually watching on YouTube at the moment. So
hello, people on YouTube.
It might just be us for now.
We're still coming. It's still only.
We're 10 minutes.
We're 10 minutes. This is. So this, I can't. Okay, we're pretending that the microphone works, right? But this is okay. It sort of looks professional, no? It sort of looks like.
I mean, it sounds like it works when you tapped it. Then.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it does work.
So then it works. Do we have like sound effects so that we can?
No. I don't think there's sound effects. This is just a directionality.
Oh. Wow.
Okay. Well, then that's okay. That's fine.
That's perfect.
Perfect. No one has to know.
So Rebecca, I didn't look at those questions. Presumably, you're not trying to catch. Oh.
Well, so yeah, I mean, it's a rough kind of. Basically, I'll introduce us. There's going to be a poll asking the participants, the audience, whether or not they're already registered for ICN. Then I'm going to ask you to talk about yourselves, introduce yourselves, and then what you're going to be talking about at the ICN, and then what you're excited about for the ICN, for Glasgow, and then any audience questions. Yeah, but I mean, we can see how it goes because I think we've got quite a lot of people signed up. There's something like 170 people signed up.
What?
Yeah.
So, okay, we're selling tickets here, folks. We're selling tickets.
Yeah.
No, it's one drink per person. So we're gonna have one drink. We all have one drink per person. So at the end of ICN.
Well, if you're paying for the drinks, that's fine.
If it comes with a liver transplant after, I think we're gonna need that.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully we get a bit of a conversation going with the chat as well. But again, you know, we're looking at 15 minutes to half an hour, so we just see how it goes, really.
I think we're here to just get some excitement. We'll chat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's right that Giles is here. That's actually it's more, you know, interactive and friendly to be in the same room and the same.
Absolutely.
That was a good idea actually that you. And we had dinner last night.
We had lovely dinner last night.
Oh, so you already practiced then?
Exactly. We had
low fat.
Yeah, it was definitely low. It wasn't low fat. High fat, high beer, as
high dairy.
Excellent.
High cheese diet.
But I'm glad I made it here on time. I just came from I came to see Philippe. It was a collaboration meeting, and I just jumped off another. So I'm glad I'm here. I was all concerned I was going to be late, and this was.
Do you have another meeting after?
No. After which I probably have to go back and find Anami. But then after that, yeah. But that's it. Then we have to go. Then we go back. But I'm hoping. How are the we can still talk, right? I mean, it's fine. It's how many people are we? I can ask you, is registrations going okay? I mean, dare I ask?
Yeah, so I asked Connor earlier, and he said that for the ICN registrations are at about 300 now. Mm-hmm. But not everyone who has had an abstract accepted has even registered yet, so they're expecting those numbers to go up.
Okay.
So.
Cool. And we have a late as well, so we might have additional people through the late breaking abstracts. Plural. Hopefully they'll be late. Hopefully they'll be late breaking abstracts. There'll hopefully be a big contingent from Cambridge. I hope they've registered. Who knows? If you didn't,
I know exactly. This is it. Are you okay? You dying there, Rebecca?
Yeah, sorry. The worst time to get a tickle.
I was in experimental biology, and if one person was coughing in the room, everybody was looking at this person. So don't cough in a conference. That's
I know, and if you feel like you've got a cough coming now, you're just like, oh, it's not COVID, honestly.
I know.
But you can't even mention it because then people are suspicious. So.
Exactly, because then the lady don't protest. Then yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the setup. There's lighting. This is just.
I know, I've heard about it. I heard that it's very professional, cinematic.
It is very cinematic. It's just the only thing they don't have is anti-glare. Do you see the shining? Do you see the shining? Ooh.
Well, if you don't point it out, no one will notice. You're fine.
Like this.
It's actually quite well placed because you don't see it until you lean forward like that. So you're fine.
Oh, bless you.
I'm looking forward to the behind the scenes photographs later.
But your girls will be full of hair.
Oh, here we go.
That's a good point. We've got let's do one here first. Then we've got to do one with Rebecca. Okay, we'll post that on the interwebs.
Hey, Giles, I might get you to, if you're posting now, that I might get you to post going live on YouTube in a couple of minutes.
Oh no, I'm not posting it. Do you want me to post?
No, are you posting it on your Twitter?
No, not yet. I was going to do it after.
No, if you want to post that you're going live now and see if we can get some more viewers on.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to do it? Okay. And I posted one 15 minutes ago saying that in 15 minutes it's going live as well. Okay. But I don't have as many followers as these guys. So
yeah, there's a link. I don't know if you can copy that link that I've put in the chat.
Oh, there's a link.
There's a link to the YouTube live.
Oh gosh. So, okay.
Yeah, it may be too. It may not be that easy to do, but.
Okay. Can you read it? So it's YouTube. Just cancel. Let's go. Going live. In 3 minutes. By the time I finish. And neuroendocrine chat with what is your tag?
Sebastian Barrett.
At BSN
at SNE
at neuro BS. I'm not going to make it on time. At SNE
at INF.
Okay, at INF. Okay, and then read it to me.
HTTPS colon / utu.be.
utu.be. Okay.
Yeah. /H0AA.
Okay. Small H.
Yeah.
0.
Yep.
Not O. Yeah.
Yeah. 0.
Capital A.
Yes. Capital J.
Yep.
7.
Yep.
Hyphen.
Yep.
Capital B.
Yep.
Small y, small e, capital M.
Okay, got it. Going now. You see it? Perfect. Okay, done it.
Oh, that's the dash. I'm running the INF Twitter as well.
Okay. How come it's you and not Vincent, El Presidente?
Do you know Vincent's skills on computers?
Oh my goodness! I hadn't realized he was. I hadn't realized he was an old fart, mate. This is
Yeah, I think it's.
How loudly should I speak for listening? Is this too loud?
Sounds okay for me.
That sounds perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad we made this work, chaps. Here we go. We're 1 minute away. 1 minute away.
So Connor, are you gonna let me know when to start. Or
Yes.
will I just go for it?
Yeah, just, can you see where there's a button there saying start webinar?
Yes.
Yeah, so when I press that, basically you're live. So I'm going to wait till exactly 3 and press that, and then you're live.
I guess we have to wait a few seconds so that everybody connects, because
I'd count to 10. You should be able to see the attendee numbers go up.
All down when it's off.
As soon as they see us. Well, they know they're going to see you, but they might not be expecting to see me, so it'll be my fault.
I didn't take Rebecca. I only tapped the PSN.
I got it. Don't worry. I got
Okay, good. Still in a rush. In French.
Okay, so here we go. Our participant numbers going up. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes before I start.
Hey guys, coming on. I am on my socials, because why would I not be on my socials?
A social media lesson from Giles already.
That's it, folks. Hello. You know what this looks like? I don't know if you guys, this is before we starting. This is just I don't know how many of you ever watched The Muppet Show.
I'm not going to say anything.
Get on The Muppet Show. No, I think it is.
Hopefully we'll be less entertaining.
Yeah. We're going to be more politically correct. And incidentally, we're in Lille. Hello from Lille. I'm here for a meeting and a talk, and we just happen to be in the same place at the same time, guys. Lovely to see everybody.
We can finally see people in real life.
To see people in real life is very exciting.
He's still alive.
I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I had to fight through the queues at the Eurostar. Anyway, so sorry, we're going off piece here. Rebecca, please.
Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to this. It's a webinar, but let's say it's more of a conversation. We've titled it as kind of very broad title, what's next in the forefront of neuroendocrine research on obesity, diabetes, behavior and metabolism, very broad subject. But we've got 2 of the leaders of the field here who are going to be plenary speakers actually in the upcoming conference, the International Congress for Neuroendocrinology, which is happening in Glasgow this August. So to give you a little taster of what they're going to be talking about and what you might be looking forward to at the ICN in August, we kind of wanted to have this little webinar. So I'm Rebecca Dumbell. I'm one of the trustees for the BSN. I'm the communications secretary, and I'm going to be asking the questions of Sebastian and Giles here today, who, like Giles was saying, they've joined us from Lille. They're together in person, so we thought we'd take this opportunity to have this conversation. What we're going to do is, at the start, I'm going to put up a little poll, and I'm going to ask all of you and the participants, the audience members, to just answer a short question. And then I'll ask Giles and Sebastian to introduce themselves, and we'll get going. We have got a Q&A open, so if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask of Giles or Sebastian, put them in there and I will ask the questions for you. And yeah, so let's go. So I'm going to see if I can work the technology and open this poll. Here we go. Okay, so you should have the opportunity now to vote whether or not you have already registered for the ICN 2022. So this gives us an idea of who we've got in the audience and who we need to convince to come and join us in Glasgow, I guess.
I have registered, Seb. Have you registered?
I registered. Actually, it was automatically registered as a speaker. So I didn't have choice, of course.
But you guys have a choice.
And you should.
I'm also registered. So registration is still open, of course, and we've still got abstracts open. So late breaking abstracts, if anyone is still, you know, if that's what it takes to convince them, then you can still do that. We've put a link in the chat there for you. If anyone does want to register, maybe after our conversation, you can go ahead and do that. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to end that poll there. We can see actually only 36% of our audience has already registered for the ICN. So no pressure, guys, to try and convince you to come and join us in Glasgow in August.
And if the number of registrants go down after our conversation, we are going to take it personally. Hopefully we'll go up. That's the goal.
Absolutely. So Giles and Sebastian, you've already told us that you're both together in Lille at the moment. So thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to take it in turns to kind of introduce yourselves, where you work, and roughly what your area of research is on?
Shall I start? Yeah. So I'm Sebastian Barrett, and I'm a research director of the French National Institute of Health and Medical Research here in Lille, France. It's at the convergence of many big cities, Paris, London, with the Eurostar, Brussels, and I'm very interested in studying the early life origins of obesity and diabetes, and trying to understand how the perinatal environment, whether it's hormones or nutrition, can have a long-term impact, short and long-term impact on the development of brain circuits that regulate feeding and metabolism. And I have to say that the ICN, we were one of the city candidates to host the ICN. We didn't win, but I think we're gonna have a lot of fun as well in Glasgow. But I'm gonna show you what we missed. This is the local beer, and I bought some glasses, so we are gonna enjoy what you're missing. And we are in France, so I brought some cheese as well. Not as stinky as a local cheese, but that's, it's local as well. But I'm super excited to come to Glasgow because it's a great city actually for a conference. And in August, hopefully the weather will be quite nice. And I'm gonna pour some wine, some beer.
So as my beer is being poured, because we're doing this, it's slightly later. It's 4 p.m. here, so we're so allowed this time to think about drinks. Listen, guys, my name is Giles Yeo. And I'm a geneticist, actually, interestingly enough. I'm a geneticist that's based at the University of Cambridge, where I study the genetics of body weight. So why we're small, medium, and large in this environment we live in, which you might say, well, hang on a second. I thought we're logging in to find out about neuroendocrinology. So what is neuroendocrinology? Neuroendocrinology is how south of the neck communicates with north of the neck, okay? Endocrinology, neuroendocrinology, here's the hinterland in which we work with. And we now know that the genetics of body weight is, by its very definition, the genetics of how our brain controls our food intake and our body weight. So how the brain controls the north of the neck, controls south of the neck. And that, broadly speaking, is what I'm going to be talking about at Glasgow. I'm doing the big public lecture, the Wiley Vale public lecture, the night before the main meeting starts. And I'll be speaking about really my favorite topic, obesity, but about why obesity is not actually a choice, and how the circuits within our brain and the genes and the molecules within our brain influences our feeding behavior and hence our weight.
Fantastic, and I'm looking forward to that, definitely. And I'm really jealous that you've got beer and cheese, two of my favorite things. So enjoy. Thank you so much. So, so you both mentioned that you are giving talks at the ICN in August. And Giles, you've given us a little bit of a flavour of what you're going to be talking about. Sebastian, would you like to tell us a little bit what you're going to be talking about in August in Glasgow? Yeah.
So I'm going to give the Jacques Benoit lecture from the French Society of Neuroendocrinology. So each year they give a prize lecture to, I guess, a senior scientist. So I'm becoming part of this club to talk about their career, I guess, and discoveries they've been doing through their career. And as I said, I've always been interested in studying the importance of hormones in brain development, hence the neuroendocrinology. So I haven't prepared my talk yet, I have to be honest, but I think I will talk about the history of the importance of hormones in brain development, with all we've been knowing on the importance of sex steroids, for example, or stress hormones in the organization of the brain with critical periods. And then I will go through the discovery that I've made when I was a postdoc, and then that my students and postdoc have made during the past 15 years on the role of leptin, ghrelin, and also on more recent work on the contribution of maternal nutrition, so what the mother eats, but also what the mother drinks. I'm not talking about that in terms of artificial sweeteners during pregnancy and lactation, and how it can affect the development of key hypothalamic neurons that regulate feeding, and how it can have a lasting impact on metabolism and energy balance.
And I think what's interesting is that's completely related to this concept of, I do think that obesity is not a choice, and I happen to study the genetic influences of it, our biological differences. But what Sebastian is talking about is something that it's actually independent of genetics in very many ways. Is what happens to the maternal environment. But I guess in its broadest sense, it's you are born what you are born into. This is the problem, right? You're born, be it the maternal environment, be it your genes, be it your socioeconomic class. This is a biology talk, so we're not going to be necessarily talking about that. But there are very many reasons why your body weight is not a choice. And I guess we will be tackling two separate elements of it.
And I guess a combination of genes and environment. So if you have, the genes that predispose you to obesity and an environment that is not necessarily favorable, it's going to be harder for you to lose weight. But as I see my research, it's not only giving you bad news, like, oh, you're hardwired to become obese. It's also good news, because when you are pregnant, it's a time where you can intervene and have a long-lasting effect, beneficial effect on health. And very clear example is, during pregnancy, women are willing to stop smoking, stop drinking. So if we can, maybe intervene and have a better diet, that can have a long-term impact on the health of the baby. So that can be also a window of opportunity. So it's not only figuring out what's wrong when the environment is not the best, but it's also what we can do to make it better for the long term.
Yeah. People think that the most motivated human being on the face of the earth is the Navy SEAL or the SAS. It's not true. It's the pregnant woman. It's the pregnant mother. They are the most motivated population of human beings on the face of this earth.
Absolutely.
The best person to talk about it. But
we might not, but
we will need to have a poll about that.
Yes.
But I think it's really interesting to think about this way, or actually really important is more a better word of saying it, because you're talking about things that maybe you don't. I mean, if you're a pregnant woman, of course, you have influence over what your behavior and what you do. But if you are the offspring of that pregnant woman, you can't influence what has happened in the past. But if you understand the kind of cards that you've been dealt, you're better able to kind of deal with that, to know what you need to do, maybe,
and make you understand
to intervene.
Why it's so hard for you to lose weight, because you might have the best environment during these critical periods of life, and maybe your genes that might not be also favorable.
Yes.
At least it makes you feel less guilty about those interventions that might not work for you, but work for your neighbor.
Yes, yeah. And understanding those individual differences. Not everyone is the same, basically. Yeah, excellent. So for those of us who have not been to an ICN Congress before, including me, what is it that you think that you're looking forward to going to this ICN meeting in August in Glasgow?
I mean, oh my God. I mean, for one thing, seeing human beings again. Okay, that's not even ICN. I mean, how many of us have been to just a big international conference? And so I think undoubtedly for me, it's seeing human beings again. Leaving that aside, I think that because the ICN only happens once every 4 years, there are people that I meet relatively regularly because we're geographically together, but it's actually going to be meeting the people that sometimes I only meet every 4 years, and talking. And I go to obesity meetings because I'm an obesity person, right? But what the interesting thing about the ICN is it brings together a bunch of different people working on the south of the neck to the north of the neck. And it will be expanding, and for me, it will be expanding my worldview beyond simply just body weight to other elements of neuroendocrinology. Seeing people and continuing to expand my worldview on neuroendocrinology. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
And biological aspects that are interconnected with our field, because we know that feeding behavior and metabolism is highly controlled and regulated by stress. It's highly regulated by reproductive status, if you're pregnant or not pregnant. So, and again, we tend to be very focused on the meetings on obesity and metabolism, but now we're going to have a better overview of what's going on above the neck and beyond.
Excellent. We've got someone with their hand up, but if I could ask you, whoever that is, to pop your question in the chat for me, and then I'll get to you shortly. Thanks. Okay, lovely. So what about Glasgow? So we've mentioned that the ICN this time is going to be in the UK, and it's going to be in beautiful Scotland. Glasgow weather in August. It's going to be lovely, I'm sure. What is it about Glasgow that either of you are looking forward to?
This, but browner.
No, and actually, I've been to Glasgow. I've been to Glasgow a couple of times, and you can get some really, really excellent food there as well. So I'm really looking forward to having food with other human beings, and really having a laugh and having a couple of drinks as well.
No, and I just come back from experimental biology last week, and I was so happy to see colleagues, talk with my colleagues after my talk, after their talk, and again, we don't have a lot of international conference this year yet, so it's going to be really one of the main. Especially, I know a lot of people in the ICN field, so it's going to be really, really important to catch up with everybody that we haven't seen except for screens. So I think it's and for young investigators, that's going to be particularly important because it's critical to go to conferences if you're a PhD student, a postdoc, to meet the PIs that you've been reading about, and to meet your colleagues, students, and postdocs. And meetings are great platforms to do that, because you can't do that on Zoom, you can't do that through seminars because it's only one speaker. You're going to see everyone, basically, your whole family, neuroendocrine family. Exactly.
Yeah. So as a BSN member and as a neuroendocrinologist myself, maybe I can add to that. I am an ECR, and I'm obviously looking forward to meeting a lot of my colleagues. It has also been a very long time for me to meet lots of my early career colleagues, and obviously the bigger names in the field as well. Glasgow is a lovely place because the centre is going to be quite close to the centre, so there's lots of food, lots of kind of cultural things that you can do, and obviously you may be able to hear my voice that I'm Scottish, so it's very close to lots of beautiful countryside as well, and I recommend the seafood and the whiskey if you're coming to Scotland for the first time. Yeah, so I think we did have a question in the chat, but I can't see it. So let me just have another look in the Q&A. No, so I don't think there are any questions from the audience. If you do have any questions, you've got a couple of minutes, pop them in that Q&A, and I'll ask our guests about that. I'm going to pop up the second poll now. So this is a related question to the first poll. If you have not already registered for the ICN, are you now going to register for the ICN 2022?
Please be nice. Please say yes.
So I'm going to assume anyone saying no has already registered.
And
to
I
be kind to ourselves.
bottle for each who will register today. Oh, cheese, you don't drink.
Well, I mean, while people are actually filling in the poll, it's interesting that we're talking, because in very many ways, Seb is talking about the environmental impact, maternal environmental impacts onto our future metabolic health. I'm talking about genetics impacts, and people always think that we're at odds with each other. Is it nature versus nurture? How many times have you actually heard that? I think I've always thought that nature versus nurture is a very oversimplistic argument when speaking about this. I think it's nature via nurture, right? You've got your nature, and how the nurture is there is going to actually bring up the nature or not. Because when you're talking about your an environment, we know, for example, that just thinking about socioeconomic class, right? Where I mentioned that was one of the factors at play, that those in the poorest in society, bottom decile, based on socioeconomic class,
are twice as likely to end up with obesity as people, middle-class people like ourselves. And so it's not any genetic difference, right? Because there's no genetic difference between rich and poor, accident of birth. And yet there's doubling. So I think there are huge environmental impacts that we really do need to could consider: biological, maternal, genetic impacts as well.
I think that's a great point to end on there. Thank you, Giles. So, we have got, okay, so we've got the results of the poll, which have come up now. So those of you that voted in this latest poll, whether or not you will now register for the ICN 2022, we've got 54% of you planning to register. So that's great news. We're looking forward to seeing you in Glasgow in August. For anyone who's interested, you can find in the chat, there's a link to the ICN website where you can register. Registration is still open. And it's still possible to submit late breaking abstracts. So that would potentially be selected for a poster presentation. That's open still until June. If you are a BSN member and you have been for the correct amount of time, which you can check on the website, and I can't remember, you can still register for the travel allowance, which will help pay for your travel to the ICN. So let me have a look. We have got a couple of questions in the chat. So will epigenetics be covered, since they're sometimes considered to integrate genes and environment? So I guess that's generally for the general conference program. Sebastian and Giles, do you have any comments on that?
I haven't looked at the programs in details, but I would be surprised if there is no epigenetic talks, because you can't avoid epigenetics.
Absolutely.
Very good reasons. So might not be in the metabolic field, but might be in the reproductive field, because I know and stress field, because I know very good investigators in neuroendocrinology who works on epigenetics of stress and reproduction. So I would be extremely surprised if there is no talk at all on this. So I'm pretty sure that we cover.
Yeah. So if you go to the link for the ICN website, you will actually be able to find the general program there. And that covers all the plenary sessions that have already been selected. And then all of the oral presentations will now have been either accepted or sent out to those that submitted abstracts. So presumably that will start being populated on the website there. But you can have a look at the general program on the ICN website there for anything specific. There is a question about whether or not there'll be a session for ECRs. So we do have an ECR programs, kind of attached to it. So there are some sessions which are specifically for early career researcher talks, and we have a couple of early career prizes as well from the BSN, but also more broadly from the SNE, and I think there's might be something from the INF as well. Yes, and then of course there's going to be the PANS session, which is Pan American Neuroendocrine Society, towards the end of the program as well. So yes, so there's going to be a lot of things for early career researchers. We're going to be looking at careers, but we're also going to be highlighting early career members' research as well as part of the program.
There will be a lot of oral presentations that will be given by ECRs. I guess the vast majority of oral presentations that will be chosen for posters will be from ECRs, because the goal of the INF, BSN, SNE, PAN, all the societies, it's really to promote, is to have all people like us getting prizes or lectures, but it's really to promote young investigators through oral presentations, and I guess it's going to be a good platform for young investigators to show their research and be visible.
Yes, it's going to be a really great opportunity for especially for those who maybe haven't had the chance to attend one of these big international congresses previously. So I think we have just a few more comments asking about, well, saying that they would like to come, but they're in Canada, actually both from Canada. There is a question about whether or not the sessions will be recorded. So and of course there are some grants So I think the INF has a travel grant available as well. Certainly the BSN, if you're a BSN member, I've already mentioned that. But if you have a look at the website, for those of you who are not based in the UK, it might be worth having a look at that. In terms of recording the sessions, we're still working on that, basically. So we'll be able to give you that information hopefully a bit nearer the time for those of you that can't make it. It's not yet been sorted out, basically. So I don't think we have any more questions in the chat. So it just kind of leaves it to me to thank our lovely guests, Sebastian and Giles, who are enjoying their cheese and beer over in Lille. Thank you for joining us today and for, this looks delicious, and for talking about their work and what we're looking forward to. Thank you everyone who did join us for this chat. And for those of you that have not already signed up or submitted an abstract for the ICN meeting in August, please do have a look at the website. The link is in the chat and you can sign up from there.
And please don't be shy after our talks. Come see us, we can discuss, we can have a beer, we can chat, have food, but don't be shy, come to us. We are more than happy to discuss with all of you.
I heard Sebastian's providing the beers, so.
I provided.
Okay, so I think we can leave it there.
Is that it? Do we say bye-bye? Do we go moi?
I'm just in the logistics now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, perfect. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you in Glasgow in August. So goodbye.
See you soon.
Ciao, guys.